The question here today is, can law enforcement lie to a suspect? And the short answer is, yes, they can. The question at a deeper level is, under what circumstances and when? The truth is, you do have rights. If you call the police or they call you and you're not down at the station house, understand that you are not in custody. They do not need to read you Miranda, and your confession or whatever you say to them can be used against you. If you are in custody, they do have to read you Miranda rights, which means you have the right to remain silent. At the end of the day, you can always, at any time, invoke your right to counsel. Say, I want to talk to my lawyer. It doesn't make you sound guilty, it's smart. And then they can't question you anymore.
Demanding accountability and defending your rights against the police specifically, and the government generally, are difficult and dangerous tasks. Your right to watch the government and record what you see is a natural right that is protected by the Constitution, and it cannot be taken away by the government.
I got this body cam footage a while back after finding out about this incident from the woman who was charged with the crime stemming from it. The focus on this video is, of course, as always, the order follower involved and the threat of violence he is as he interacts with civilians. Remember, anytime an extortion agent like this interacts with you, in the back of their mind, you've done something unlawful, whether you are the one calling in to report or the one being questioned. The point of their questioning is an investigation to get information out of you and charge you with the crime. If you choose not to answer their questions, they have many tools in their arsenal to coerce you to give them what they want. The obvious ones are the massive amounts of weapons they can use to inflict violence, pain, and torture on you, as well as throw you in a cage. This is a form of coercion whether they actually verbally threaten violence or not. We can all see and know they have these weapons and aren't afraid to find an excuse to use them against us. This order follower makes a phone call for his threat of violence to the suspect in order to get cooperation. He's gonna lie, and as you'll soon hear, at least make the suspect understand if he doesn't cooperate with the investigation, the Spokane Blue Line gang might come and initiate force and violence against him. Remember, we are in no way required to help an order follower in their investigation to incriminate us. You should never answer cops' questions, and always remember the Supreme Court has determined it's okay for these blue line thugs to lie during the course of their investigation. As always, I hope you get something from this video. Links to my sources are in the description, and don't forget to hit that thumbs up and share this with everyone you know. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, and better yet, sub here and go find me on censorship fighting platforms like BitChute and Steemit. Links to those platforms, as well as all the ways you can support my efforts, are listed in the description as well.
Okay. Where did it happen?
Right here.
Okay. You were parked?
Yeah, I went into the plaza to do something for work.
Yeah.
And then came back out, was filling out paperwork for that. My car moved, so I looked in my rearview mirror and they were backing off and got stopped at the stop light, so I took a picture of their license plate.
Okay.
And
can you email that to me?
yes.
Alright.
And I was
So,
like,
did you see who was driving?
It looked like a female, but that
Okay.
was just in the glimpse of looking in my rearview mirror.
Okay.
So
Did they seem to have noticed that they hit you? Didn't know. They didn't like
they
get
drove
out
off
or
pretty
anything.
fast. No.
Okay.
They just drove off.
Okay.
What is your email?
It is SKILLIAN at SpokanePolice.org.
Perfect.
And then, can I get your license, registration, and your, I guess your insurance? I'll put it in the report. So I'll do what's called a driver's exchange.
Okay.
And I'll put their vehicle information in there for you, and I'll bring it up to you. It'll have the case number on it. So you were actually in the car when it happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just parked. I wasn't
Okay.
like very broken and
If you have it on your phone, you could screenshot it and email it to me too.
Okay.
All right, stay in here, stay warm if you want, and then
Thank you.
I'll be a couple minutes.
I'm going to stop this real quick and just break down what we have so far. So far, as we can see, this lady called in police saying that someone ran into her car from the back. She doesn't have any evidence of this. It's just her story. For all we know, she's committing some sort of insurance fraud. Maybe she was hit or backed into something a couple months ago and has just been waiting for the right opportunity with a red car that kind of matches the right kind of red scuff on her bumper, so she can say, oh, this person hit me from behind and didn't stop, and I took a picture of their license plate. So that's what she's turned over so far, and the order follower is here to investigate that if there was a crime committed. So what she doesn't realize is when the order follower asks her for her insurance and her registration and her driver's license, that's actually him conducting his investigation on her. She thinks it's just to file in his report, but no, we got to remember, these guys are out here to incriminate us. No matter what we're doing, whether or not we've hurt anyone, their property, or defrauded anyone, they're here to incriminate us and extort money from us and threaten us, throw us in cages if need be. Now, the other reason I wanted to stop that here is just point out what's happened so far as this woman not having any evidence that other than just her story that she was hit from behind, because as you're going to hear soon, this order follower starts talking about he's going to kind of lie and say some things and try to get the guy who owns the car to fess up to maybe who was driving it, even though he's not responsible for it because he wasn't driving in the state of Washington.
So guy owns it. She's not sure if she thinks a girl is driving it. A little girl, she said, and this guy's 6'180", so he'd be pretty tall.
So, can you charge them for hit and run if they weren't driving, but it was not their car?
No. Which, in Florida, say you're the owner of the car, you either get charged with it, you get the ticket, or you have to provide the state. Say we couldn't get a hold of you, we would send you the ticket, and we would also send a form with it. It said if you are not the driver of the vehicle, you need to prove who was, or give us the information of who was. It's your vehicle, it's your responsibility. In Washington, they don't do that, so now I'm going to have to try to get a hold of this guy and tell them, okay, so your vehicle was just using a hit and run, you're responsible for your vehicle, who was driving, and then see what they say. So basically I need a little bit of an admission to who was driving.
To charge them.
Yeah, here. So if they know the process, they've been through it a bunch of times, and they say, well, I don't know what's going on, or try to report their vehicle stolen, which people do. This is pretty minor, it's just a little scrape on the right rear bumper. So there's also a small chance that they didn't know that they hit it, which I doubt, but they knew they were real close anyway when they pulled out. She was sitting right there. So they might say, oh, I didn't even realize that had happened, and then give their information, and then I wouldn't charge them with it. If they were really cooperative and like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. But I'm going to try to find them and go from there. See what I can find.
I'm stopping this again. I just want to go over real quick. Maybe it's a ride along, or maybe a new gang member initiate that's in the car with him that he's talking to. But there's someone in the car that he's discussing what's going on with here. And basically, he's saying he's going to lie and use his threat of violence to try to get the owner of the car to give up the information of who was driving it, so that he can issue a citation to the person who was driving it. Because as the witness already said, or the person filing the complaint already said, it was a woman. She said she was smaller, and the registered owner of the car is a tall man. So kind of rules that out. not really any evidence that he was driving the car. So he's going to try to find out who was driving the car so he can issue a citation to that person. Because remember, that's what these order followers are there for, to extort money from us for the ruling class. Now, if this person did hit the woman making the complaint, then, you know, as I always say, if there's no victim, if nobody's been hurt, no property has been damaged, and no one's been frauded, then there's no crime committed. Well, obviously, if this woman did hit this person filing the complaints car, there was some damage to personal property, and that should be taken care of. But I think one of the things we all need to remember is anytime we step out of our house, it's, you know, the threat level to us goes up, whether it's someone running into our car, someone running into us with their car, a tree falling on us. I mean, there's any myriad of things that could happen once you leave the safety and protection of your house. And no amount of laws, statutes, or order followers out there enforcing these statutes can keep us any safer. And in fact, I would argue that the more statutes we have and the more order followers out there enforcing the statutes of our ruling class, the more danger we're in, because then it's not just the criminals who want to steal from us and maybe take our property, defraud us, things like that out there, but then it's also these order follower gangs, these blue line gangs that are out there, and they're the ones that actually perpetrate most of the violence against us, specifically for victimless crimes. Like I said, if no one has been hurt, no property has been damaged or stolen, or nobody's been defrauded in any way, then there's no crime because there's no victim. Yet these order followers and the ruling class are trying to take all these statutes that don't have victims except for the state itself and make those crimes. And if we don't want to go along with them, if we don't want to collaborate and stop when cherries and berries are up, all that kind of business, then they're going to initiate violence on us, unjust violence, and they're going to throw us in cages. They're going to torture us. They're going to throw us in cages. So I think that's one of the most important things here is, yeah, it sucks if this woman got her car hit, but it could have been a tree that fell on her car instead of this lady driving a red Honda Prelude that ran into the back of her allegedly. So that's why we have insurance. That's why you should have insurance when you're driving your car. If something happens to it and you don't have the money to fix it, then you can get it fixed because you're paying insurance every month. So I'm just going to go ahead and play the rest of the video. I might have a couple of comments at the end. We'll see.
Okay, here's your info back.
Okay.
This is called a driver's exchange of information. It has the case number on there.
Perfect.
Has my name, Officer Killian, 1201, so my badge number. Basically, it says unknown for the person, but it has the vehicle. It's a 1988 Honda Prelude plate number, which you had the plate, but this will just kind of get your insurance company started if you need to.
Perfect.
Now, what's your phone number?
509
509
270 9763.
It's Carissa.
Yep.
Karissa. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see if we have, our DMV has a contact number, like most people should. I'm going to try to call that, and if not, I'm going to do a little bit more research in another system and see if I can locate the people and see if they'll admit to being here or anything. It's registered to a guy, and you said you think maybe a girl was driving, but not
But
sure.
it was like literally like a split step.
Could you tell if they were tall or short or anything? Okay, totally understandable. All right, well, I'll let you know at this number if I find anything new out.
Do you think
Okay.
I should report it to my insurance?
Well, it's up to
fear
you.
is that my insurance goes up or that.
It's totally up to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay.
But I will let you, if I do reach them, I will let you know.
Okay.
And if not, then I won't
Okay.
call you. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, have a good day.
Appreciate it. You too.
You too.
Now, I did just want to give a quick update on this whole story. The woman who contacted me was the woman who actually was driving the red car, and she gave me a little bit of information about what happened. And I think, like I said, the most important part of this story, what I'm trying to focus on, is the cops can lie to us during the course of their investigation. Especially, they're going to let that slide if it brings up criminal charges against someone. And from what I was told, this order follower did contact the owner of the car and basically told him, hey, if you don't tell me who was driving the car, we're going to come get you because you're responsible for it, even though that's not true under the statutes of the state of Washington. I think maybe the owner of the car had been in some trouble in the past, and they kind of even brought that up to use against him. So again, coercion, intimidation, threats of violence, torture, and being thrown in a cage, all to get the owner of the car to give them information. And for all we know, the owner of the car said, oh, it was this person, maybe a friend that isn't a friend anymore, just, oh, it's that person driving it, to get them in trouble just so he could get himself off the hook. I mean, we don't really know. People will do anything when they're threatened by the force of these extortion agents. So that's why do not answer questions to police officers. I don't care if they're just asking you if you're having a nice day. Really try hard not to answer their questions. They are not being nice. They're there to find out if you're breaking any statutes so they can extort money from you and or throw you in a cage. You guys, I hope you enjoyed this video or at least got something out of it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit the like button and share it with everyone you know. Find us on Twitter as well as censorship-free platforms like BitChute and Steemit or DTube. Of course, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to smile at someone you don't know every day.